So I literally just finished off the final Red Faction game, and I decided, you know what? Let's make a tier list. Let's make a tier list of the entire series. So if you want to see the entire series, I'll have this in the link in the description. We did pretty much the entire series over the last couple of months. It's pretty much the end, pretty much December 2025 is when we started the first game. Obviously, I do other playthroughs in between. So yeah, we're going to be ranking the games today. You might be seeing Battlegrounds missing, but Battlegrounds is not a very important game. It's not very important to the lore, but I put it here in the tier list anyway, just to rank it regardless, because why not? So let's just get straight into this, shall we? So the original Red Faction game from 2001. What do I think of the original Red Faction game? The original Red Faction game, the gameplay was actually pretty fun. The first act of the game was really cool. Like, it was a rebellion, and you were trying to stop this Ultra Corporation, which is the main antagonist. By the way, this is the same company that made the Saints Row games, if you're generally curious, if you've heard the name of Ultra before. But Ultra originally came from Red Faction, then they moved it over to Saints Row. But anyway, pretty much the plot of the game is to try and overthrow and stop this evil guy that's like doing experiments and causing a plague and all that. Well, that's the first part of the game is about. Then the second part of the game kind of goes all over the place. Like, the first part of the game is the most interesting bit. Like, you're having a rebellion, you're trying to overthrow this guy. And I played this on console, and the gameplay is actually quite good for 2001. This game came out before Halo. And this game has obviously not as good shooting as Halo Combat Evolved for its time. Obviously, because that game was very revolutionary. But the game that came out before Halo for a FPS game on a control actually did not play super bad. But anyway, early game was amazing, pretty balanced. But the problem was about midway through the game, they introduced these stealth sections, and the stealth was absolutely abysmal. Like, you'd be randomly detected, guys could sometimes see you through walls, the alarm would go off, it'd be annoying. It got to the stage, the best way to actually do the stealth sections, at least the second stealth section, the first one you kind of, it's not too bad, but the second stealth section, pretty much we have to do just run by the guys and get lucky. It's really fucking irritating, and the game doesn't really explain it very well, but it's a game of its age. Then there's the second half of the game, which you get introduced to these mercenary guys that show up that beam rifles, and they one-tap you. They have aimbot, and they one-tap you with full health on normal difficulty and full armor. I'm not joking. This game came out 3 years before Halo 2 Legendary Jackal Snipers, and I think when Bungie made the game, they literally copied it. So, honestly, if I had to rate the gameplay, the first half, if the first third of the game was the entire game, honestly, I would put this game at A. Honestly, I would. But it's just the annoying. The stealth section is absolutely abysmal. The stealth is absolutely horrible. Then the second half of the game, where you start fighting these mercenary guys with these snipers that just aimbot you constantly, it's so annoying and actually ruins the replayability of the game. And I'm going to be completely honest, it's a fucking D. If the first half of the game was the entire game, honestly, I think it was an absolutely nostalgic game for its time, but it's just some really, really annoying game mechanics. It's just fortunately the way it is. Now, you can constantly quick save, you can cheese save, luckily. You can constantly save cheese, which, surprisingly, this is the only game in the series you can actually cheese save in anyway. But anyway, let's talk about Red Faction 2. So Red Faction 2, it's kind of weird. Red Faction 2 is not, unlike every other game on the series that's set in Mars. By the way, if you're curious why I've created a single-use tier list, because nobody's actually created a Red Faction game tier list, and I'll be honest, I couldn't be bothered creating one for everybody. I'm sorry in advance if somebody did. But anyway, Red Faction 2, I actually thought the gameplay was slightly better. A lot of people actually prefer Red Faction 1 over Red Faction 2. I'll be honest, I think I actually prefer Red Faction 2. Like, I prefer the gameplay in Red Faction 2. I get asked why people like the story. The story is kind of stupid in Red Faction 2. I would make the argument say the story is better in the first game over the second game. However, the second game improved in certain elements, like less bullshit. They removed the annoying stealth sections. The vehicle sections were kind of linear. It's very linear like the first game. But honestly, I don't really have a lot to say. It had some hard boss fights. The story didn't really make any sense at all. Better in the first game. I'll be honest, I'm probably the only person in the internet that thinks Red Faction 2 is actually better than Red Faction 1, but that's what I personally think. Don't really have a lot to say to it, so I forgot to mention this at the start. I played these two games for the first time ever. I did not play these games back in the day because, well, they came out when I was like 1 and 2 years old. They came out 2001 and 2002. So, yeah. And also, we played this on the original Xbox. But anyway, Red Faction Guerrilla. Red Faction Guerrilla, it's kind of got the same issues. They got one issue like the first two games where the story is it's kind of silly and I don't know, it's not a terrible story, but here's something that this game did improve significantly. It's a fucking open world, which I personally, open world is just risky for a linear game series. Going open world is extremely vishy. Like, I have a hot take when it comes to open world games. I don't like the open world in Metal Gear Solid 5. I don't, the Phantom Pain, I don't like the open world. It just feels bland and it feels like there's nothing in it. But this game is not too bad. There's a decent amount of stuff to do the open world. The only problem is it's kind of short, but the gameplay is improvement. Instead of first person shooter, the first two games were first person shooters. This game went to a third person shooter. And you, like the first two games, you can destroy. All the first two games you can destroy a lot of stuff, but the destructible environment went even higher in this game. You pretty much can destroy anything in the game. You fight this faction called EDF. It's kind of more interesting, which is kind of confusing because EDF are the heroes in the first game, but for some bizarre reason they made them the bad guys in the third game. It's really weird. I mean, it's not as bad as 2's story where you take over this dictator, then the red faction gets betrayed, then there's a new dictator, but at least it's set on Mars. But anyway, I really enjoyed this game. The length was a bit short. It encourages side content. The side content's actually decent. A little bit repetitive to get salvaged and all, like you gotta do the races over and over again. But there's just so much content this game has. Just wish it was a bit longer. It's a bit short for overall game. But honestly, I think it's a S tier. I honestly think it's S tier. I think it's an S tier game, especially the original version. I may as well talk quickly about the remaster as well, since I put the remaster. The reason why I put the remaster here is because the remaster is pretty much the same as the original game. I'll give also, the multiplayer was really good as well, by the way. I forgot to mention that. The multiplayer's always kind of been decent in the series, for the most part. I wouldn't really say there's any bad multiplayer, but we didn't do the multiplayer. We only played the campaign because the multiplayer is kind of dead. But anyway, the remaster version, pretty much the same as the original, but has a few bugs that wasn't in the original. It looks a little bit nicer, but granted, though, you can just play the PC version. The PC version doesn't really look much better compared to the original PC version, but yeah, that's what happens when you remaster a PS3 game on a PS4. You don't really get much of an improvement because it's even worse nowadays. The remaster PS4 games on PS5, even that's even less noticeable. But anyway, minor improvements to graphics, a few bugs, like a very bad audio bug when you're starting the missions up and all that. It's like really buggy. I can't exactly remember it, but it's really stupid and it's really annoying. But anyway, it's just pretty much the same. At least they kept the multiplayer, as I said. They kept the multiplayer, which is nice. Most remasters just dump the multiplayer. But to be honest, if they dump the multiplayer, I'd probably move it down to a B, but I think it's an A. Next is Red Faction Battlegrounds. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I did do a playthrough of this game, but funny enough, Red Faction Battlegrounds is the only whole game in the entire series. It's not on PC, but it's like an Xbox Arcade Live game. You can also get it on the PS Store, by the way. You can still get it on the PS Store. I don't think it's on backwards compatibility on Xbox. I could be wrong. I probably should have checked before I recorded this. But anyway, it's like a multiplayer, like top-down game. And there's like a bunch of challenges and all that you do in the game, and it's pretty much dead. It was pretty much just a marketing technique for Armadillo. Honestly, it's an F tier. It's not worth your time. It's just kind of a hype train just for Armadillo, which was kind of weird. And it's not even made by the same company. It's made by like some other company that didn't even make the mainline games. Honestly, don't have a lot to say. That's why I didn't bother playing. I seen some gameplay online of it, and I was just like, online's pretty much just said, oh, it's got challenges, and that's the single player, and that's pretty much it. It doesn't have any story. Then there's like this multiplayer mode with 4 players. Alright, let's talk about the Armadillo. Armadillo, probably the most mid game in the entire series, honestly. It's pretty much just Red Faction 1, but if it was in third person. But still has annoying enemies like the first game. It brought back the salvage mechanic of the first game. No, the third game, I mean Guerrilla. But it went back to linear. I'm pretty sure it was marketed. It was going to originally be open world, but then they end up making it linear. And it's just some weird questionable decisions they made. Like, it's so weird, the story. They don't really explain it. It's like, are we fighting like the original Martians or something like that in the game. The game does not explain it very well at all. Like, it doesn't explain it very well. Then you got these alien creatures that you cause in the middle of the game. And we also did the DLC as well, by the way, when we did the final stream. The game is that short, man. I even did the DLC. The DLC, by the way, was only 40 minutes long. Kind of glad I didn't pay 45 minutes long. I'm kind of glad I didn't pay for it, man. Nah, I'm kind of glad I didn't have to buy it separately. Jeez. But anyway, the base game, it was alright. It's the most mid game in the series. I mean, the human faction was fun to fight. The aliens were pretty terrible to fight. I felt like I was just running through enemies towards the end of the game. It didn't feel fun, honestly. I think, honestly, I think it's a C tier game. I don't know. I mean, the survival mode was actually alright back in the day. I played a little bit of survival mode in the multiplayer, but I know you can't really play that anymore. So I don't know. I'd probably say Red Fat. I don't know. I don't know what I'd put ahead. I think I'd put Red Faction 2. I actually think I'd probably say Red Faction 2 is quite better. Quite better. But anyway, that's what I'd personally think. But anyway, that's going to be us. That's us with the tier list. I know it's a very short. Usually I do like hour-long tier list. I'm not sure I have in the past. But I ain't made a video in a very long time. I usually do a live stream tier list because usually I like to explain a bit more in detail. But I don't really have a lot to say about this series. It's kind of like... It's a mixed bag. Like, they constantly change what they're doing. It's really strange. It's not consistent at all. It's not a consistent series. Like, they just change stuff, and I can kind of see why the series died. Then they go open world, then they go back to linear. It's very, very odd. It's like they don't know what the hell they're doing. But anyway, let me know in the description where would you rank the games personally. I know some people are probably not going to be happy me putting 2 above 1, but hey, it's my tier list. But anyway, I will see you all next time. Peace out and yeah, bye.